president, still acting unpresidential. I'm in the Bronx with the evil in my residential. It was all emojis, it was never mental. The silver spoon is under fire, and the pressure bent it. The times that we living in unprecedented.
Welcome to the Build and Destroy podcast, where we build on what's to come and we destroy what's done. We're here again, y'all, for another hot one with the legendary Blue Pillar, the legendary Red Pillar,
Peace. Cheer.
the legendary Tyreek Bay, and I am Malik Deshaun. What's happening, fellas? We got a lot going on to talk about, a lot of powerful things, as always, things that'll turn your brain to water. This banking system, baby.
Right. and you know, hot topics that we could cook up and turn some water into steam.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's an amazing time. You know, what a time to be alive.
Man.
What a time to have insight and vision and be able to offer some commentary.
Absolutely.
So as always, the universe has delivered a full plate. You know, we got a kitchen full of ingredients. Now it's time to cook with gas. Let's get it.
Absolutely. Let's go.
I like to veggie back on that and say, what a time to be in school, or what a time to be in class.
Facts.
God damn, the universe is throwing out lessons after lessons after lessons after lessons, and based off of your level of understanding, overstanding, understanding as to what you're witnessing, this will level up. This is here to really just certify and verify so many lessons. So many years of information is coalescing in this moment.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So my brother Tyreek Bay, you have a original origin story that I feel that you can utilize to segue into this discussion. Destiny Grind arose out of the ashes of the banking disaster in 2008. So I want you to quickly preference and reference, you know, your origin story so we could jump into this convo.
Man, that's crazy that you said that, because I was thinking that last night. I'm like, damn, this how it all began for me.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So what the brother was referring to was when I first started getting into these oracles, man, you got to look at everybody's motivation. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
My motivation at the time, man, was to make as much money as possible. This is around 2006, you know what I'm saying? When
Millionaire card.
Yeah, when the real estate market was, I don't know if you remember back then, but the real estate market was popping. Everybody, if you can fill out a piece of paper, you was gonna be able to get a loan. You know what I'm saying?
I remember in Milwaukee back then, you could buy a whole duplex for 20 bands. 19,000.
Strippers
put 5,000 in it and it's worth 80.
Damn.
Strippers have 4 and 5 cribs.
Oh,
you know
the old Atlanta?
Yeah. Yeah, strippers had cribs, dog, all over Atlanta, man.
Right.
It was crazy, man.
Crazy.
So everybody was getting it, you know what I mean? So when I first started, you know, somebody put me on to this tool called the E-Chain. Say, hey, man, you know, use this, man. People use this in business all the time. And they showed me a couple of movies, man. They showed me the movie with Martin Lawrence and Danny DeVito, What's the Worst That Can Happen. When Martin was a thief, he broke into the crib and he stole Danny DeVito's ring.
Right.
Danny DeVito said, yo, that's the I Ching. I've been using that to get money for years. That's what put me on. I'm like, what? What is this I Ching, right? So that's what Martin Lawrence stole from him.
Right.
So, man, when I went and started studying the I Ching, I used to do it like I'll be in the middle of a closing, you know what I'm saying? Things will be going haywire. I'm like, yo, hold on, let me get a minute, man.
Right.
I go to the bathroom or go to my car or whatever. I break out 3 pennies because all you need is 3 pennies in the book.
That's right.
So I'm hitting them. I'm hitting I Ching GPT.
Right.
I'm prompting. Yo, what do I need to know? You know,
Microsoft
to close
Ching.
this deal.
Right.
So, you know, I'm hitting them up, and then finally, I would get answers, and then I would go back in, apply what I just got from the reading to the situation,
right,
the best way I knew how, and I would have a crazy success rate of closing these deals. So I'm banging them out. I'm getting bread. So one deal, I remember this deal, man. And this deal, I had to put some skin in the game. I had to put a large amount of money into the deal for it to happen. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna risk this, but when I hit this, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and make something happen. So I'm about to get into the deal. So I do a reading. I said, your comments on me doing this deal or whatnot. And I never forget this, man. I got a 33. And the 33 in the I Ching means retreat. Ain't really too much interpretation needed, right?
Right.
Retreat. But to me, I'm like, yo, retreat. I'm in the middle of a big deal. If I pull this off, I'm out of here. You know what? I ain't listening to this. I'm nice with it. Whatever that retreat mean, I'm nice. I can handle that. Man, I'm about to listen to 3 pennies. I've been listening to it when I was making my bread, but when it was the minute it told me something I couldn't do, like, nah, I ain't listening, right? So I said, okay, cool. I withdrew all my bread because I'm like, yo, whatever happened, I put it all in the deal, right? The next day, bro, I'll never forget this. I got a call from my broker. Like, yo, we can't finish the deal. I know what you mean you can't finish the deal. I done put my bread is in this deal. He said, man, look, the bank's done shut down. The bank's done shut down. This was when the Great Recession happened. That's what they call it?
Around the Obama era, right after he got elected?
Yeah, yes we can era. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes we can. You know, after that shit, you know what I mean?
Yes we can't.
Yes
no,
we
we
can.
can't. Yes we can. Went to no, we can't.
The banks literally pulled all their deals, bro. They shut everything down. I mean, like when I say they shut it down, they shut it down. Banks closed, banks failed. A lot, like the couple of banks that failed the other day, it was like 3 or 4 of them, big banks, with Bear Stearns.
Bear Stearns, big boys.
All of the corporate paper that they had packaged up and sold overseas, they defaulted on. All of it. That was the catalyst. That was the first crash. You know, that's when it was too much money in the economy. See, when money is flowing in the economy like that and everybody getting money, we just witnessed it. Yeah. PPP, SBA.
Right. Same thing.
My boys that had bars became millionaires. They told me, they said, man, it's a great time to be alive. Boy, everybody's spending money.
Right.
I know people that ain't never seen $5,000 at once. They got 50.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they going crazy. They think they rich. They think they don't never got to work again. You know what I'm saying? They done turned into monsters, something else. But when that happens in the economy and too much money is flowing, you know, it causes inflation. It causes high food prices, high gas prices, high housing prices.
Yeah,
right?
Can you explain, you know, let's explain inflation for people, because let's not take for granted everybody understands what
absolutely
the terms mean. So.
Inflation in a nutshell is a rise in prices. It's high prices and high interest.
Created by what? Like, give us some scenarios.
Created by mass amount of spending.
So the case in point, if there's too much money in the economy, that means that more people have access to a lesser amount of things. So now the premium on prices has to escalate in order to make said product valuable, because
absolutely,
there could be a run on products if people have more bread to spend.
Absolutely, and it also causes producers to have to pay more to produce.
To produce, right.
And so what they start doing is passing the buck down to the consumer. You know what I'm saying? Because shit, if I was paying $5 to make it, but now I got to pay $15, guess what? It used to cost you $100, but now it's going to cost you $300 because I got to get my money back.
Right. So when we look at the onset of inflation and the perfect storm that kind of like brought it about, we look at, like you mentioned, PPP, and there was an influx of quote unquote cash into society.
Absolutely.
Because of all of that, you know, money that got sent out or what have you.
Absolutely.
And how also did the trade tariffs play into that? Being that, like you said, production costs went up because things started getting cut off. Then they got this war now, you know what I'm saying, between Russia and Ukraine. So we're led to believe that there's a scarcity in the global supply chain because of these trade tariffs and things, you know, what China's going through post C-19.
Absolutely.
So how does all of this play into the overall global the quote unquote, inflation that we're seeing?
I'm glad you asked me that, because the main thing that causes governments to act on inflation and to really make a push is the importers and exporters. See, when the U.S. dollar is high, it stops capital inflows from coming into the country. So the exporters, they cry, uncle, help. They go to the Federal Reserve. They go to the government. They say, y'all got to do something. China not buying from us. Japan not buying from us. Africa not buying from us. They going somewhere else where they can get more bang for their buck.
Right.
So y'all need to lower this dollar. Y'all need to lower this price so that they can start buying back from us, because we are the world's #1 consumer.
Yes.
The U.S.
Consumer nation.
Which is why I always say, if we don't buy, the rest of the world don't eat.
If we don't buy, they die.
Absolutely. And that's why when what Tyreek was talking about, when that crash happened due to the paper that they had sold to other countries. And I remember the president of Iran got on national TV and he said, this is the fall of the U.S. Y'all remember that?
Yep.
He said, I think we're looking at the fall of the U.S.
Right.
A week later, the G6 got together, the G8 got together, and they created what was called a dollar swap. And they pumped money into the U.S. to prop it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To prop it up, because what had happened was when the crash happened here, it did something that the world had never seen. It had a domino effect.
Ripple, right?
Man,
Ripple
it went
effect.
to China, it went to Europe, it went to Canada, it went to Australia, it went to Japan. You know what I'm saying? It went to the major countries with the major currency, the Swiss franc.
Right.
But to answer your question, the exporters, man, a country has to always keep its exporters satisfied.
Right.
Which means they need to keep prices at a reasonable level. That's why when most of the world, most of the countries, Canada, Europe, the yen, Australia, all of these, the U.S., we all got what's called a floating currency. But if you go to China, they got a fixed currency. Which means they manipulate their currency to stay within a certain amount, a certain range.
Right.
So guess what? The world can always buy from them with manufacturing. That's why most of the world owes China.
Right.
Because they create, credit lines with the world, just like Japan. A lot of the world owe Japan. Japan got certain plays you can do with they currency. Because of their low interest rates. You can literally borrow money from Japan, take it over to Brazil, take it over to Venezuela, take it over to Mexico, where they got a high interest rate, and just deposit it in their banks and watch it grow. They do it. A lot of them do it overnight or do it for a week, but they do it with large blocks of money.
Large amounts.
Hundreds of billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Take some borrow from Japan with their low interest rate, go over to China, go over to Brazil, and let it grow real fast. Bam. I just caught 2 million off of 100 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Flip it real quick. Right.
That's just an example. So countries try to keep their currency low because when you got situations like you got right now, the banks owed a lot of money, bro.
Right.
They owed a lot of money, not only from the PPP, but bro, from over the past 10 years, this shit been propped up. Mm-hmm. It's been manipulated.
Right.
There's no way the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, and the NASDAQ is supposed to be at the levels that they at now after all the things that our economy been through since 2014.
Right.
There's no way, bro. It's pure manipulation. So now we're reaching a point where these housing prices are so high. This gas, this food, and the dollar is right there where it's supposed to be. The dollar is never supposed to move with oil. The dollar moves opposite of oil.
Right.
The dollar moves with the Dow Jones. In 2008, bro, and before, usually when the economy is in trouble, people invest in gold. Why? Because gold is a safe haven.
Right.
Gold rises, the dollar falls, But, bro, after that, when that happened, we saw a shift. Now the dollar became a safe haven. So you got to kind of watch it. You know, the dollar don't move with gold. Now it do. In 2020, I was in the market trading, and it's really tough for traders right now because they really got to watch this. When I was trading, we had got on that Friday got news that China was shutting down for the COVID.
Right.
So I knew that Monday morning when the U.S. opened up, I said, "Oh, it's finna go crazy." So I bought gold. I bought the US XAU USD contract, the gold contract. I bought it. I was trading on a site called Hugo's Way. You know, it's an overseas foreign exchange broker, and I placed a trade on the XAU USD. I went long. I think I did one full contract. Yeah, I did one full contract. Bought one full contract. I also placed a short on oil. I remember it like yesterday, bro. Gold was like at $16.50. Oil was at like $55. I called my boy Max. I said, "Max," I said, "Listen, bro." I said, "We need to go long on this contract." I said, we went long on gold, the XAU USD contract, which long means buy, and we went short on oil, which means sell.
Right.
I knew that when Asia opened and the U.S. opened, I said this finna gold gonna gap up because people scared. They gonna pour their money into gold.
Right.
And I said the oil gonna gap down. I said it's gonna gap down because you know everything finna dry up. People ain't gonna be driving and shit. And if people ain't driving, if it's a lockdown, if it's a shutdown, if you can't fly, what's the use in using fuel?
Right.
The price of oil gonna fall. Man, listen. Sunday they said the U.S. was shutting down. I called Max. He said, "Man, let's see what happens." Bro, when I woke up, gold had gapped up to like $17.50. Now, mind you, I opened this account with $1,000. Oil had gapped down to $35. I had $12,000 in gold, and I had $8,000 in oil. No, like $9,000 in oil. The account was at like $21,000. Just like that. I told Max, I said, "Man, this motherfucker finna go." So I played stop losses and started locking in profits, but I started doubling down on my positions. Gold went to 1780. I add another contract. I add another contract. We had like 26,000. Bro, gold hit 1,800 and it started stalling. I'm like, man, it's finna break and keep going. I'm like, man, everybody's scared. Bro, in 10 minutes, gold went boom, boom, boom. My account went from 26,000 to 18,000, from 18,000 to 9,000, from 9,000 to 3,500, to 3,500 to in the motherfucking red.
Damn.
I was sick. Max right there with me on FaceTime. We both looking at each other. We sick. I'm talking about I had this in the pit of my stomach. I know better. I got greedy. I got greedy. And I'm like, what happened? This ain't how it go. What happened? Man, they came on the news and said investors changed their mind about gold being a safe haven, and it was a rush to liquidity. Everybody wanted their cash. So people started pulling out of the gold market because they were scared. Because guess what? If everything go to shit, you can't buy no loaf of bread with gold. You can't buy no bottled waters with gold. You need cash. You know what I'm saying? So traders got to be careful at this time because, you know, we don't really know if gold gonna be a safe haven. So it's a risky play. Also, the dollar. Usually, man, in times of trouble, you know, it just depends. Like people can buy U.S. bonds, and when you buy U.S. bonds, you basically buying U.S. dollars. So you cause the price of bonds to rise, which causes the price of the dollar to rise, which causes the interest rates to drop. And interest rates are interest rate needs to drop when we are at a high level of hyperinflation like we at now. We're at the yield curve. They already done rose interest rates to where it can be.
Right.
Excuse me. So it takes the bubble to burst. And once the bubble bursts, then interest rate starts to come back down. And they essentially pumping money back into the economy.
So basically in March of 2020, when two things happened in March of 2020, One is the Federal Reserve came out and said that they're gonna, relax the interest rates to 0%, correct?
That's right.
And then another thing that happened in the banks was they passed a law where they were allowing the banks to take 100% of deposits. I believe it was fractional reserves and whatnot.
Yeah, fractional reserves.
Right.
You used to have to keep 10%.
You have to keep 10.
Now they said you only got to keep 0%.
Fact. So they were able to now invest and dump. And then they began to play the security. They began to play the treasury bond game.
Yep.
Right. So they jumped in with the windfall of all of the bread that was flying in during this COVID. All of the banks began to play these markets and whatnot. So now when the interest rates got bumped back up, those same treasuries that they bought at a certain price were now at a loss. And now and that window is still open where homie keeps edging the interest rates
absolutely
higher and higher.
And that's exactly what SVP went through?
Absolutely.
That's why when they took that L, when they said we're gonna have to sell at a loss these treasury bonds, we got caught with our hand in a cookie jar.
That's right.
While we're waiting for this thing to go down, right now we chilling, we trying to keep quiet
because the bonds were supposed to be their security.
Right. We trying to not blow it up. But then in their report, they had their monthly report. They said, yeah, we need 1.3 to stay afloat. Once that got out.
It's a wrap. Once investors lose confidence, they got a confidence index that you can look at. It's an indicator. It's a technical indicator, a lagging indicator, but you can look at it. It's called a confidence index, and it just tells you basically where the consumer's index is, and right now, man, it's not good. Like right now today, you look at the news, it's in green. It's Tuesday, March 14th. Everything was green, man. That's pure manipulation. I don't care if the FDIC did come out and say they're going to insure the banks. Man, the bank failed.
Right.
But mind y'all, you see they kept quiet, the bank that just failed in New York.
Right.
Yeah. It's another bank that failed in New York.
Right. Signature?
Yeah. They say Signature.
Oh, they're not speaking about that.
Yeah, they're not speaking about it. Why? Because they don't want to crash these markets right now.
Right, so they want to bait the fear.
Everybody, they want to give all the politicians and all the big corporations and everybody a chance to get their ducks in a row before they crash it. And when they crash it, the people that are unconscious or oblivious to it are the ones that are left holding the bag.
Holding the bag.
So
it's very important, for that matter, to have this conversation around this time to inform the masses as to what may be taking place, give them a crash course in education, just in case they don't fully understand the dynamics of what they might be bearing witness to.
Listen, if you want to know, the housing market is the easiest place to find out. Right now, if you buy a house, you buying it at a premium. You buying it at an all-time high. Mind you, interest rates drop, housing prices gonna drop. That same house that you just bought for $300,000 next year after, that house probably gonna be worth $150,000.
You mean
$120,000?
When interest rate rise, the price gonna drop.
Huh?
You mean when interest rates rises, the price gonna drop? Right?
No. I mean, right now interest rates are up, so the prices are up. Housing prices, gas prices. When the interest rate starts to fall, that means the bubble has burst. That mean now they got to pump money back into the economy, and the way they do that is lowering housing prices, lowering gas prices, lowering food prices. Remember, everything moves with the interest rate, the yield curve, up and down. When interest rates are rising, they're sucking money out of the economy because it's too much money in the economy. So if all of us got $1 million, and when we got the $1 million today, gas was at $2. Now that we got this $1 million, next week they're gonna push gas up to $3, $3.50. Why? Because they got to depreciate the value of our wealth.
Right.
And the way they do
like, I
that
need a piece of that.
Man, there it is.
I need PC.
You know what I'm saying?
You niggas got fat while I'm starving.
Come on, man. You know, so that's the game that they play, and it's like a roller coaster. It's called a yield curve. It go up and down, up and down. It's a constant cycle, and it never changes.
You know, to me, man, what I feel like when you look at this whole thing, a bunch of fronting going on. The bank's fronting. You know what I'm saying? You go to the bank, fractional reserve banking, right? In any other terms, you do that shit, they're gonna say it's a Ponzi scheme.
Hell yeah.
They're gonna say you doing a Ponzi scheme, but you lending out, you got money you don't even, you giving people money you don't even own. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have. You know what I'm saying? That's a Ponzi scheme. Then on top of that, we all 80s, 70s, 80s, right? Cold War babies, right? So everything, it's like they used to tell us, man, United States is, we banging against the Russians, and United States got all this our defense is impeccable. You know what I'm saying? We safe over here. World War I, World War II, World War I, all that happened over there, other countries, but we straight, right? Then somebody just flew a balloon just straight through the defenses, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like a bunch of fronting going on. You know what I mean?
So I'm glad you said that, man, because that's the way the founding fathers kind of set this country up to be just what I was telling y'all. The world's, the world's number one consumer. For a long time, people said America don't make nothing. Everybody else makes something. Yeah, but we the ones that buy everything that everybody make. So as Red said, if we don't buy, they die. Mm-hmm. So you can fly everything, but this what I always say: America fall, the whole world gonna hurt for the next 20 to 50 years.
Damn.
America fall, the whole world gonna hurt.
Cause who gonna buy
for the next 20 to 50 years?
Russia gonna hop it,
and that's the
China
genius,
gonna come into consumerism.
That's the genius of how this country was set up, bro. That right there, that's the power. That's where the power lies.
Purchasing power.
Purchasing power.
Right. You are a preferred customer. You know what I'm saying? And the corporations gotta make sure that their customers is good, long enough just to come back. You feel me? That's what they got HR departments and PR departments for.
Y'all know what else? That's why people always say, man, the money ain't backed by nothing. America ain't got no gold. It's a known fact that Switzerland got majority of the gold. England got some gold.
But America's backed by her pledge to buy.
People.
Yeah, the people, the pledge to buy.
Our purchasing power is worth more than gold.
And they say that we are in a fiat system that is primarily propped up by trust. So it's all propaganda. The PR is not just public relations, it's politician relations. The politicians are just in place, once again, to abate the public, keep us calm, and to do with Bloomberg or Giuliani told, New Yorkers to do on 9/11.
Figureheads.
Just go shopping.
Just go shopping.
Right.
Go shopping.
Man, come on, man. That was the most powerful statement ever.
Just go shopping. Show them that they can't win by going to buy something. They told you everything that you needed to know right
Come
there.
on, man.
Show the terrorists that they did not succeed by going and making the purchase.
Come on, man. Y'all just
There was nothing else that you needed to know after that. They ain't say, you know what I'm saying, we're going to pay him back when we're bigger.
Right.
They's like, yeah, we'll get around to that. But the way that you showed them that they didn't win, go make a purchase.
Hey, y'all, we just watched Kanye West make a big dog fall to their knees and come back and holler.
Right.
We just watched that, man.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented, man. See, they didn't understand that people wasn't going to even, man, people ain't only messing with y'all because of Kanye West.
Cause of Ye.
So y'all want to listen to the propaganda,
right?
And y'all want to okay, yeah, we ain't messing with that. Nobody bought Yeezys, and Yeezys is said to be one of the most comfortable shoes there is. When I ask my boys, man, why you buy that ugly shoe? Boss, it's one of the most comfortable shoes they stopped messing with it.
What was the dude's name? Ari
Gold.
Is it Gold? Can you look it up? This would be the prototype. He was the prototype for Entourage, the movie that they made on HBO with
Oh, he's the brother of Rahm Emanuel.
Oh.
Harry Emanuel.
Oh,
Yeah, the most
Harry,
powerful
that's his
person in
He's
Hollywood.
management. He's consulting for management.
Right.
So he, was primarily the one to put the pressure on the corporations. Right. From a consultation perspective, he told the corporations, look, if y'all don't pull, our propaganda machine is going to erode your customer base, and it's going to be a bad look for you on a PR side, right?
Wow.
Without factoring and equating, once again, that these corporations are moved by brand trust based on their brand affiliation. So people was only jacking for Adidas because they was in business with Ye, and that made the buying public trust them. Once the trust became eroded, nobody went nowhere near it. You feel me? So what do you think? Is there anything possible that could be done that makes people erode their trust in the US dollar? Because, outside of that, there will never be a fall of America as long as the US dollar is bulletproof.
You know what? I'm gonna take it back to something I was listening to the other day. 19 Keys was saying. He was talking about the halo system, the halo effect.
Yes.
With the faith in the brand, and that if a customer had 3 good experiences with a brand, that brand could never do no wrong.
Right.
That's where we are with the US dollar. People have had so many good
So much
experiences
faith,
with the US dollar that it's at a place where the halo effect has taken place.
Can I
and it
share
can do no
something?
wrong.
Before you do, my thing is once again, is very interesting that the epitaph on the back of the dollar is "In God We Trust."
Man, you're a mind reader.
Right.
Just fucking read that.
And
that's that twin power, baby.
Yeah, that's that 6 of club,
Yeah,
right?
that's that 6
That
of
psychic
clubs.
energy.
That psychic
They locked
energy. Y'all
in.
just move
So
between y'all.
we gonna Jada and Styles it. I'm not gonna take, all of it. I'm gonna give you the layup. We're gonna Stockton Malone it. Faith in God. Trust in God. In God we trust. And we know that also the trust on that back dollar is speaking more so about a financial instrument than just the faith that the people have in the instrument. We also know that they're speaking about an irrevocable trust in many regards.
Absolutely.
Right.
So if people equate their happiness to the solvency of the dollar itself, you feel me? How is it possible to convince people that the dollar will fall, but it will retain some level of happiness? You know what I'm saying? Outward optimism. You know what I'm saying? Continuous outlook in life. How can people still maintain a stable mentality, an optimistic outlook, you know what I'm saying, and a forward drive if they're not incentivized through the almighty dollar?
Sex, money, rock and roll. Studies have shown that the largest deposit of dopamine, right, in the human body and whatnot, and serotonin exactly, is derived from the activities of intercourse, right, sex, and money. Our feel-good hormones, our high,
Right.
We've been getting quote unquote these rushes over our lifetime, and it's attached to a monetary, a non,
So basically, the release of endorphins.
the release of the endorphins. What's been keeping Americans somewhat above water, with all of the mental issues that we're facing and whatnot, with all of the situations, the driving force in Americana, which is the number one consumer nation. So what drives a consumer nation? The dollar bill. What drives a consumer nation? The will to buy.
Come on,
what
man.
drives a consumer nation? Right?
Come on.
Some Fetty, you know what I'm talking about? It's like Fetty Wap.
Fetty Wap.
So people,
You feel better
baby.
buying stuff,
Right.
And you feel better because you can buy stuff.
right.
Right.
So we have these, guilty pleasures, right? Where people eat themselves into joy and whatnot.
Wow.
Right, but then we also and then we have an obesity problem in America as a result of not just that. Of course, we have to address.
Right.
Yeah,
And
Because what I said is the rush comes from buying something, acquiring, and the rush comes from me knowing that I can acquire it. Right? Which then pushes me to go get more of it just because.
Right. Because think about it, Blue.
And then you go and get big box.
If the world was set up to whereas you never saw commercials with children with flies on their faces, where they never had a word, a derogatory term called third world country, what can you measure your wealth against?
Because think about it, and look how fast it
Wealth is
happened.
what you can measure it.
Right? Yeah, because look how fast it happened. In our generation alone, do anybody at this table know somebody who was like, I ain't grow up off of a mayonnaise sandwich? Does anybody know anybody
The box cheese.
who use that as their why?
Come on, man.
Right.
Why did you get into what you did? Why did you jump off the porch?
We had roaches.
You know what I'm saying? Why was
Right.
you on the block shaking at the age of 13?
Fridge
I
was
came from
empty.
nothing.
You feel me? I
Right.
came from nothing.
Holes in my
I had
shoes. I was
mayonnaise
sharing
sandwiches.
pants.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You feel me?
I got a partner, man. You know, he a real slick dude. Got a lot of money right now. You know, he used to tell me, my boy Lil Ron. He used to say, he used to say, boss man, listen, man. He say, man, I used to stand on the porch. It'd be raining outside. He said, I have a hole in the bottom of my shoe, and I stay on the porch so nobody can see the hole in the bottom of my shoe, and my feet wouldn't get wet. Yeah, he a millionaire now though.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Right.
You know,
he had a lot of
was-
pain
come on,
points,
man.
and he addressed
Come on,
those.
man, and he a hustling. I done seen
Right.
him lose it all and gain it again. Over.
Right. So
Yeah, think about that. Think about economy as fuel. Right?
right, how many people in America, right? The mortality rate, right? How many people in America have died losing money? Right? There's people when they lost the money, they start hopping off of roofs, hopping off of bridges. Then how many people have died trying to get to the bread in America? Right? So this dollar is the driving force. It is America. It is Americana. Like Blue Pill said,
on,
the
man.
sigil on the back, in God we trust.
Come on.
There are atheists that worship the dollar.
That's right.
There are people who say Jesus, he's on the wall, but Jesus is not as powerful as that dollar bill. They pray to Jesus for the dollar.
Yeah.
They don't pray to the dollar for Jesus.
Come on, man. They pray to Jesus for what? Say that again,
For
bro.
the dollar.
Come on, man. Come on,
They
man.
built a church around it.
They built a church around it, and there
dollar.
was no
Money
dollars.
makes the world go
right.
round.
There was no greenbacks. You feel me? There was no U.S. dollar in the days of Caesar. There was no U.S. dollars in the days of Yahshua. He was. They weren't like they was. They had shekels, nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the concept. Right? So we're comparing ourselves against the poverty of the world. There's a level of arrogance that Americans begin to obtain as a result of that. Right? Our biggest fear is to have flies on our face.
Our biggest fear is to relive the Great Depression.
Facts.
And none of us saw that at this.
And that PTSD is more ingrained
Come on, man.
in another race of people than it is in ours too.
But remember, bro, when they show them pictures of the Great Depression, you like, damn.
But once again, keep in mind, there was you have to juxtapose the Great Depression with the Harlem Renaissance.
Absolutely.
Right? Like I said,
Absolutely.
how was it that our people we were not suffering the same way that others were suffering?
We was eating back
yeah,
then.
Yeah,
And
policy
that's what,
bankers.
come on, man.
Right?
Numbers
That's bumpy.
game.
Yeah, that's policy bankers, numbers game.
Yeah.
That's prohibition.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? That's jazz. That's the rise of the jazz
That's right.
musicians and
That's right.
them
Yeah,
going global.
artisans, yes.
Hey, let me say something too, man. After the Great Depression, after the Harlem Renaissance, Blue, another reason why, and Red and Tariq, I think that people have so much faith in the U.S. dollar is that we have never seen a sustained period of or a sustained level of hurt, a sustained level of lack.
Right.
You know, when we have these crashes, man, they come right back the next year. They pump some more money into the economy. They just call it inflation and deflation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They call it the rise of interest rates and the fall of interest rates.
So-
the housing market fell. Now it's coming back.
So we never seen nobody work the levers like this.
Man, we never
Hitting
seen
switches. We
Come
never
on, man.
seen them.
We never seen that. So people always got faith. Oh, it failed. It'll be back.
It's the machine. It's the system. It's the matrix. Right? What did Neo say? The matrix responds accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
This is Adjustment Bureau. They have the levers in place to keep the dream going.
That's right.
The loss of faith, they'll never be able to get it back if it completely falls.
If it completely falls.
You feel me?
That's right.
So the Wizards of Oz, those behind the curtain, right, who print money out of the air, can maintain the facade or the mirage as long as the printing machine works.
Right.
Right? When that stops, that's when we begin to see things for what they are. But the minute the window begins to open, they nail it shut. That's why there's bailouts. They'll let a weekend pass. That's
right.
as far as they'll let it go.
As far as they'll let it
Saturday
go.
and Sunday, and be like, God damn, we need to change the rules so we could fix that.
And you know, it's important that everybody in the world that don't know understands that there's something called a central bank, and every major currency has a central bank.
Yes.
The Canadian loonie has the Canadian Central Bank.
Right.
The Central Bank of Canada. The Euro has the EU. You know, or the ECB, the European Central Bank.
Right.
The Swiss franc have a central bank. The Japanese yen have a central bank. The Australian government have a central bank, and all of them are connected to the U.S. dollar. All of those currencies I named, they move against the U.S. dollar. When the U.S. dollar rise, the Canadian dollar gonna fall, the Australian dollar gonna fall, the Swiss franc, the GBP, all of them are supposed to fall.
Year.
Absolutely. Right. The only currencies that really don't move against the U.S. dollar and might move with it at times are the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc, and it's because they are safe haven currencies.
Right.
People put their money into those two currencies in times of trouble. Because the Swiss is backed by gold, and Japan has least debt than anybody in the world.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, and all the central banks are connected to the Federal Reserve. They move off of what the Federal Reserve do and say.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So of course, you know, we can't not speak about the 800-pound gorilla in the room when we're speaking about currency, because we are in 2023.
Absolutely.
So we have to kind of like speak to the times. I went on Coinbase today. You know, I was just curious as to what was going on in the crypto market, because I thought that, you know, we may see red. You feel me? I wanted to gauge where that was at, based off of the fact of Silicon Valley Bank falling and them being so tied into, you know, the crypto market, along with Signature. Signature is one of the top. Silvergate, all of the S's. Silvergate, Silicon, Signature, right? So all three of them got wiped out, right? And I know that their attachment to startups, I know that they're attached to the quote unquote crypto market and whatnot. So I'm like, damn, is this a hit? Is the market dead? What's going on? Is this the way for the Federal Reserve to roll out their digital coin?
That's what it is.
Are we seeing a play taking place?
That's what we seeing.
So I hit up Coinbase, and to my surprise, Bitcoin is up 3,000 from yesterday. Right? If you could check it right now, I was probably at 23. It was at like 21 yesterday or 20, and Ethereum is at 17.
Yeah.
Okay? So I saw a green board, and I said to myself, wow, interesting. Because what I haven't heard in the form of outrage, or what I'm not seeing from, you know, TradFi, traditional finance, and even people who are linked in with the Web3 DeFi movement, they're not even taking this moment to push their opponents off of the ledge and whatnot. I'm like, why is nobody beefing about the fact that the banks are taking your hard-earned money and basically gambling it? Like, where do they do that at? And people such as ourselves, it's hard as hell to get a loan and other things, but you take your hard-earned money, your payroll money, and you put it in a goddamn traditional bank, one of these old centralized banks and whatnot, and they take the bag and they out the back door. That's like being in the streets, and it's like Lil Meech going to give shoe boxes to Cash Doll, And the minute she leave, Cash Doll is calling Lamar up like, yo, I got 100 bands to invest.
It's a Ponzi.
It's a Ponzi. I need to get the return on that though by next week in case Lil Meech come back from out of town and he want his boxes back. So while he's out of town with these boxes of money, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna flip that. I'm gonna take 100% of it. I'm gonna put it into the doogie and whatnot, and then by the time he comes back, I'll give him his 100 bands, but I got 250 in my shoebox. Like that's highly risky. First of all, people in the hood get killed for that. Right? That's a death sentence, playing with somebody's money and investing it. Or I'm gonna go to the gambling spot. Blue dropped off some bread and whatnot because his mattress is too filled up. He gave me a box of bread, right? He's going to Cancun. I'm gonna take his money. I'm gonna go roll dice with it with Jay Prince Jr. and them, right? Highly volatile dice games, right? Risk management is on fleek. Right? So I risk the chance if my hand is not hot this weekend versus what it was last strong in, right? That I might ace out and then they take everything and send me home with a chicken dinner. So when he comes knocking on the door for his box of money, what do? I got to get bailed out by my big homies, right? Who gonna now.
But that's people's faith in the security of the system. That's their faith in the security of the system.
So it's faith-based.
FDIC, it's faith-based. It's
so
belief.
Are we
it's
right.
as strong as the faith that when Tyreek, you and Blue sat down in those chairs, they ain't gonna fall.
Right.
It's the faith. We got faith that
But
somebody just. We didn't look at these screws before we sat down. We just did it because we used to it.
So this is us operating in blind faith.
In blind faith.
That's right.
Like we was taught by the Christian church.
Right. Man knoweth not. Right. Drop my butt in this chair with the hopes.
With the hopes that it's gonna hold
everything is
me
what
up.
it's supposed to be.
Drop my money in this bank
So-
with the hopes that ain't nobody gonna come steal it.
So is it safe to say that we could draw a comparison, or there's a clear parallel running through religion and money in America?
Absolutely. The church has always been connected to finance. Even Jesus had a treasury.
Like I said in my
His
sermon.
name was Judas.
Damn.
Yeah. The very single thing that Jesus was dealing with during his time, right? Allegedly 2023 years ago.
BC, yeah.
Right? Is the same thing going on now. When he was running down on them banks,
Right, flipping
right?
tables and shit.
Come on, man.
It was an issue of interest.
Right, which was
It was
haram.
an issue of subprime.
Right, which was haram.
Right, it was an issue of when the people in the villages was making a run on the banks, the bread wasn't there.
That's
right.
It was the same issue.
Damn.
Right, he was churning over the table from the money lenders who were
Man.
putting absorbent rates on the interest and things of that nature, and they were milking
Come on,
the
man.
society. Hence, fact
Come on,
that
man.
Islam will come along
And outlaw it.
correct it.
Right.
by changing the law by saying no usury.
No usury.
No usury.
None of that.
You feel me?
Astaghfirullah.
Astaghfirullah.
Yeah, we're right back where we started. If you look at it for what it is, and the crazy part is that it started, let's say, 3:9, 3:10, right?
Right.
Revelations 3:9 is what? That's the verse about the synagogue of Satan.
So we need to be hollering at Farrakhan and them.
That whole from 3:9 to 3:12.
Let me ask you this.
Right.
That whole pocket of time that this escalation took place was the whole chapter in Revelations dealing with the synagogue of Satan.
Wow.
And the alleged people who took over banking.
Wow.
Injecting poison into the system.
Damn. They back again, bro?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Wow. I'm listening. So, it's imperative, man, that we all understand that we are the power.
Yes.
We the power, man.
The
We the
people.
purchasing the people, man. If right now, if we walked out there and it was number hundreds on the floor and we could just kick them around, y'all know they ain't worth nothing. Supply and demand.
Right.
This is how they keep their power. When too much money is flowing in the economy, they start to raise prices and put strains on people.
Right.
Because too much money, they lose their power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't worth nothing. If people stop caring about it, they have no power. If people stop caring about money,
Right.
the powers that be in the government have no power.
So it literally is Wizard of Oz.
Absolutely.
But
because
not only
all
that-
the central banks are connected.
Not only that, my friend, it lends the credence to the power of what Satoshi Nakamoto brought forward with that white paper that he released on Halloween.
October 31st, 2008.
So
The 4 Heart Day.
right. And this was something that can't be undone. We speak about the 3 pillars or the 3 quote unquote, polarities or the 3 nodes. I brought it up before. I mentioned China as the first. Then I mentioned America by way of New York Times. And you saw that play out, right? And you saw the war that's taking place between New York Times, or what they call inherited wealth, and Silicon Valley, or what they call foundational or founder wealth. That's called new money. That's new money. They don't know where you niggas come from. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? That's what New York Times represents, the quote unquote establishment.
Old money.
Old money. That's rock. That's
Trust fund
East
money.
Coast. Yeah.
Trust fund.
That's
money.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
That's all trust fund.
JP
That's
Morgan.
Greenwich, Connecticut. That's
Come on, man.
That's where homie was born in Hartford. JP Morgan.
Yeah.
That's CT,
Yeah.
Jersey, New York,
Rothschild, Flagler.
all that. Right. They tied to London. That's right. So
Lords of London.
They're the money lenders. That's Wall Street.
That's
they're
right.
the money lenders.
That's right.
To your mans in them over on the West Coast. These are Europeans who basically, they disrupted old money. Right? They disrupted the taxi industry with Uber. They disrupted the hotel industry with Airbnb. They're the disruptors. They're coming in and they're toppling industry. They just disrupted it with OpenAI and the way that they took over, and there's a mass disruption. They say that, quote unquote, generative AI, right? And I just don't want to say Chat GPT because it's not just them, but Gen AI or this AI 2.0 is having what is known as their iPhone moment. To whereas the iPhone changed the world and it can never go back to what it was after that quote unquote Pandora's box was open. So we're in our iPhone moment, and the new culprit is quote unquote generative AI or the new AI 2.0, and the big players, or the biggest player, will be OpenAI with ChatGPT. You feel me? Stable diffusion, the generative art, the diffusion models and whatnot. They're making noise, but the big dog is ChatGPT 4, okay, which just came out. So the middle node, right? You have hard power. Remember, China is an AI empire. It's an AI government. It's not
run by AI.
It's strictly run by AI with their credit system and their surveillance system, their monetary system. It's all AI, right? It's almost like a weaponized AI government.
And
it's a dictatorship.
And you know what's crazy, man? China still has that hierarchy that suppresses the people.
I just said it's an AI dictatorship. The
Man.
AI didn't do it.
Ooh.
The government was already a dictatorship.
They're programmed.
They program
Right,
it.
it's
So it's
cali-
programmed.
right. It's calibrated.
It's calibrated.
Boy,
Right,
that's
to
maintain.
authoritarian
Right.
Principles. Right.
Right.
That
So that's
goes
how
back
it's
to what I
programmed.
say, how they control and fix their currency.
No, yeah,
While
of
the
course,
rest
of course.
the world
So
floats.
right. So that's how they fix their technology.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You
Okay.
feel me?
So
got you.
with
Fix their information.
right, but you
Yeah.
got to remember with them
their
even
access.
with them existing,
Yes.
there's two poles right now. There's a North Pole and a South Pole.
Absolutely.
Eventually, somebody has to shift to the other pole, right? America is soft power, right? It's a dictatorship, but it's soft power.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes.
It's feel sorry for me.
Yes.
China is we don't feel sorry for nothing.
Yeah.
You can't make us feel sorry for stomping him out. You can't make us feel sorry for pulling an 80-year-old. They're not woke in China. They're everything. The antithesis to that.
Right.
They move
America,
like ants
right?
from an
But
ant
what's in the middle? The middle node is BTC,
Bitcoin.
decentralized banking. But it's Bitcoin as the. And I got this from a book called Network State. I have to put my information and my sources out there so people could become more enlightened. But the middle node is BTC. BTC represents blockchain. BTC represents DeFi. BTC represents Biddy and all of the altcoins. BTC represented a contagion, right? It was a poison pill. Because once the white paper came out, everything shifted. So now man could be sovereign in his own rights. He has his own economy. He could maintain his own land and whatnot. There are cloud communities or cloud networks and whatnot. People are on Discord with gaming communities, 800,000 followers. DJ Academics has a nation in the clouds called Chat Niggas. Right? Charleston White is building a movement in the clouds and whatnot. If he ever decided that he wanted to create a physical node, he would transfer his power from the cloud into the real world and whatnot.
And he would be. Whoo.
If he said, yo, I'm on 100 acres right now.
In
Texas, flat land.
Autonomous. And we running off the Charleston Coin.
Right. We got the Charleston Coin. We got the Charleston Chew, right?
Right.
You can't come into my city, right? This is a 15-minute city. There's no entry. So the smart cities, that I could give you a list of 5 or 6 smart cities that are being built right now.
Right here in Atlanta. It's a few being built right here in Atlanta.
So the conversation about somebody bombing it or destroying it or they won't let you do it, go and Google micronations. They got people that are like the emperors of their micronations.
Facts.
They got people who own, like, they like, yo, I bought an island for 200 bands. It's
and they
my
ain't
nation.
worried about no chicken little shit about the sky falling.
They got a micronation on a super yacht.
Facts.
With mad baddies on it. You know what I'm saying? They flying in OnlyFans shorties on helicopters to the heliport on the super yacht that sits in the maritime, and it's its own sovereign nation. They got their own flag on the yacht.
Sitting in the maritime enclave, flying their own flag,
right,
with their own security and defenses.
Getting digital
not worried
nomad.
about what scary people talking
Man,
about.
I was just gonna say they better have some security and defenses.
Right,
Why
they do.
wouldn't they?
Right, they got they flying drones. Right. They're flying drones and whatnot, and they have agreements and they're abiding by laws. However, they are off of the grid and they are considered to be a sovereign nation and whatnot, and they have their own currency, right? So they do things their way.
Yeah.
I'm only mentioning that to say that, you're not able to do that in America in this centralized world. Henceforth, what happened to Kanye, right? The poster child of the new social credit system in America. They mimicked China when they did what they did to Ye. He was the perfect example. And then Kyrie Irving was also put on a cross to show people this is what is coming. So China, you don't even think about it, right? Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. You ain't getting nothing over there. You're not getting by it. You don't even know Mandarin, so sit down.
Yep.
In America, shit is falling apart. It's compromised, right? You don't know who's running the show. You dig what I'm saying? They're doing all kind of craziness. That system is falling. So what do you have in the middle?
What you just said.
Yeah, and they're consolidating.
Community.
Right. So it is always going to be attacked by the New York Times. It is always going to be underwritten, or it's always going to be, they're never going to give you the truth of what's going on. They're never going to be pro anything dealing with BTC, because that spells the death to their old empire. This is old money. This is establishment. They have to fight. This is the conservatives.
And you know that's why those billionaire crypto boys came up dead.
That's why they was knocking them off.
That's why they was knocking them off. See, they gonna show you. See, we got a secret hand. Hey man, y'all need to watch Snowfall. Y'all need to watch Godfather of Harlem, man. They giving to up about the CIA and how crooked and powerful they are.
And the bankers who was behind Bumpy.
Absolutely,
bankers, right?
Yep, and the ones who was behind
bankers.
We wanna,
Boule bankers, boy. You said it. Woo.
We wanna, inject a high-level observation into the mix, and that is 3/11 is the official anniversary date for C-19. So this new contagion manifested itself fully on the 3-year mark of C19, right? Because the whole aspect was a global reset. The global reset is dealing with what? A energy reset.
Right.
The energy is tied into the currency because it's called a petrodollar, right? Hence the fact that you see all of the old vestiges of that currency literally coming off the rail by way of petrochemicals, because the same person who influenced the financial markets, whether it be J.P. Rockefeller or J.D. Rockefeller, right? John D. Rockefeller,
Right.
or
JP Morgan.
J.P. Morgan and them,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? They was the same bastions of industry that created
Petroleum.
oil, petroleum, and the byproducts of petroleum, which ultimately becomes the pharmaceutical industry,
Right. DuPont.
and become the petrochemical industry led by
Right.
DuPont.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you have an overlord that manifests out of all of that in the darkness in terms of in the person of a BlackRock, right?
Right. Vanguard.
And Vanguard, who would be like a consortium of all of these powerful families put into one at privatized,
Right.
right?
Because all of them invest in BlackRock.
Right.
Right? That'll privatize. And now you see the consolidation of a global corporation, right? And
Right.
just one individual company waving the flag.
Right. Ultranational.
Ultranational.
Right.
Right? So we don't even got to talk about an Illuminati or a conspiracy theory.
No, we can
or
just
any
talk
of
about
that.
banking.
We
Yeah.
could just talk about banking.
Right.
Or we could talk about BlackRock.
BlackRock.
Which transcends banking.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Man, come on, man.
Right.
Powerful
And again,
company.
yeah. And then we're looking at, then it manifests on the 13th, this Monday that came, and you seen how they can manufacture and manipulate putting out a fire and appeasing the people to go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the echoes from 1913 of Jekyll Island, how they put this thing into play to begin with. So we could say, oh
We in
yeah,
23.
we have a lot to pay homage to, because you know what I'm saying, this financial instrument called the US dollar is literally the fuel that drives our aspirations as a people. It makes us become greater. Whether you are dealing with the adversity of being underneath it and you want to get away from it, or you want to get more of it, it still is going to bring out a level of ingenuity. It is the mother of all ingenuity.
Yes.
Whether you want to get from underneath it or get above it.
Come on, man.
You not
It's a
going to
driving
be
force.
born into this life without it being the driving force for whatever you choose to do or choose not to
And
do.
engraved into you.
You feel
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's somewhat engraved in the morphogenetic field.
Hey, think about this.
Right? It's a part of, I'm sorry.
No.
It's a part of groupthink, right? It's a part of the egregor, right? Like to the point where my son, he sees $1 and he knows what to do with it. He put it right in his pocket.
Come on, man.
We in Kmart, he see $1, he grabbed that shit and put it right in his pocket. Nobody had to tell him what to do. Right?
Check this out, though. Check this out, though, Red. How old is he?
He's 2 going on 3.
Wow, that's powerful.
And, I think that the collective, the fact that we're so tied to it, the fact that y'all were bringing up, even though it wasn't considered the quote unquote Federal Reserve note, money, the concept of it has been there for a very long time.
Yeah, let him talk.
Go ahead.
So, I was going to say, another power of the U.S. dollar is this. You can come out with a Bitcoin, a Litecoin, a Ethereum. You can come out with a new oil, a new bottle of water. You don't know its worth until it's pegged to the U.S. dollar.
Right. The measurement.
Everything is based
gotta
off
be
the
measured
worth.
against it.
Right now, Bitcoin is measured against the worth of the U.S. dollar.
Facts.
So that's the power of it. Other currencies, the Japanese yen, the Chinese yuan, the New Zealand kiwi, the Brazilian real.
Right.
All of these currencies are valued off of USD,
Right.
off of the power of the U.S. dollar. It is the world's reserve currency. Reserve, which means if all other currencies in the world fail, they fall back on this.
Right.
Even gold, the value of gold is pegged to the U.S. dollar.
Factory.
As Blue was saying, no matter what you say, no matter what you talking about, you can say it ain't worth nothing. Guess what? You ain't gonna buy your next meal without it. Even crypto, you gonna have to transfer it over. You see when you go in the gas station now, they got these crypto machines that do what? Take your crypto and give you what?
Dollars.
Dollars.
To convert it. Well, to be honest with you, if you didn't want to get paid in dollars, I believe that there are options. You know, there.
Yeah.
You know.
But when you go up to that, when you go to get them raw papers.
Yeah.
When you go,
they don't want no Bitcoins.
You know what I'm saying? When you go,
give 'em hemp.
come on, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Can't give them rubies.
When you go to get that Swisher Suite,
They don't want no yen.
they don't want no
like,
yen.
Nah, we don't want no
Come
pesos.
on, man. You can't spend none of that.
I
You know,
remember
even-
pulling out something with the queen face on it. The Arab dude looked at me. He about to throw the chopped cheese at me. Like, if you don't put that back. I
No,
was
man.
like,
What
damn.
tripped me out was when I went to Jamaica for the first time, man, years ago.
It had $1 million.
And I landed, bro, and I get to the currency exchange. I switch my dollars for Jamaican money, man.
Right.
When I get to the cab, he say, "Man, why you switch it?" I say, "Bro, this your money." He said, "Man, I want dollars."
I want dollars.
Said, "Damn." He didn't even want his own money.
Yeah.
He said, "Man, don't switch your money, man."
Right.
He said, "We look forward to getting y'all dollars. Don't switch the money, man."
Right.
I said, "Damn."
Dollars,
Then he
bro.
overcharged me for the Jamaican money.
Right. Yeah, you got to pay that tax now.
Yeah, he didn't want none of that. That's
They
when I
want the
was
dead
like,
president.
I was like, man, the power of the U.S. dollar. You drop in another country and they don't even want their own money.
Damn.
But it all goes back to what was said about the America. Remember, China went from communist regime to a new. They tried out a new program, right?
It became a hybrid.
They became a hybrid. This was brought forth by their president, who's basically an emperor at this point. This wasn't Mao's China. They hybridized communism and capitalism. This is the first time.
Starting from the 70s,
Right.
they sent an expert. You know, he traveled the world.
Right.
Now we talking about communism. And
We talking about
capitalism?
China.
Yeah.
How it merged. How we got to
how they turned a country of rice farmers
farmers. Right.
into what they are today. It happened in
Technological
our
manufacturing
lifespan.
guru.
Started since the 70s.
Not just that.
Yeah.
They came out of a genocide.
And they came out of genocide.
Remember, Mao closed the doors of China and knocked off 60 million
Yeah, that's right.
to clean them up.
That's right. The Holocaust they don't talk about.
Coming out of the Boxer Rebellion.
He said we need some straightening.
Coming out that dope.
Right, coming off that doogie.
That doogie and that prostitution.
Right, he straightened them up.
Yeah.
And that was 60 million. Right, so then when they opened their doors back up, they first of all, in their beginning, in their earliest inception, they cloned America, right, through manufacturing and production.
Absolutely.
Cloned them.
Cloned them.
They were a copy, and then they surpassed them. Right, so the fact that we are the #1 consumer nation, the fact that everybody looks to us to see what we're buying, so that means what are you selling to us, right? Because we're a consumer nation, but we
Absolutely.
still got something to sell the world.
Absolutely.
We sell the world culture,
Yeah.
entertainment,
Yeah.
sports,
That's right.
fashion.
That's right.
We sell them ideas and concepts,
Absolutely.
right?
We sell them swag.
We sell
them swag.
We sell them law.
We're not tapped into what they're doing with ChatGPT in India or Japan. We're not mimicking what they're like. What are y'all doing with it?
We also sell the word security because
do.
we are the world police.
We do.
Another country get out of line with another country, we get in their business
We do.
with the quickness.
Because there's so many quote unquote invested interests
Come on, man.
around the world.
Red and Blue and Tariq, my grandfather used to tell me something. He said if you owe me $10 and you can't pay me, he said you got a problem. But if you owe me $10 million and you can't pay me, I got a problem.
Right.
And that's the world today. You know what I'm saying? The U.S. owe people trillions of dollars.
Right.
The rest of the world got a problem.
Right.
Because if the U.S. can't pay, It's their problem. And that's power.
Right. And we know that they'll never pay.
Yeah. It's like all of y'all the dons, and I'm bringing in all the money, but I owe all y'all. You don't. If I owe Blue, I owe you $50 million. I owe you 100. I owe you $300 million. You don't want me to die.
Nah.
You don't want me to fall.
bread.
You don't want me to go to jail.
that bread.
You want to make sure that I'm functioning so that you can get your money back.
We
Man.
have a vested interest. I have equity in you.
Yeah.
Right?
That's power.
So I could even play as your rival to drive business
Absolutely.
because we know that this is a theater.
That's right.
We know conflict sells.
That's right.
You feel me? Bodies is gonna mess the money up, but conflict sells. You see UFC? Did you see the smacking thing? The new smack?
Man, that's a
They just
listen.
knock niggas out with
I was just
smacks.
telling my boy, I said, "Hey man, I want to take this to Milwaukee." He said, "Man, somebody gonna get smoked."
Somebody definitely gonna get smoked. You flinched. No, I did. Yes, you did. Brat, brat. Nah, they open-handed. They knocking people out with an open-hand smack. This is Will Smith on Fetty Wap.
Yeah.
But listen, with all of that being said, right? This is the game of bluff. It's like a game of chess in a sense, but they know that the game of bluff. America is the number one bluffer on the planet. They've mastered the art of bluffing and whatnot. They mastered the art. Wrestling is fake, so they out here wrestling with a bunch of other nations and whatnot. This is just high level wrestling. What they doing with China, sometimes some of the things that they do with Russia, some of the things that they do with all of these other quote unquote ops and whatnot. It's high level wrestling. Because at G20, I never seen no open hand Will Smith slaps.
Right. And,
There's no tension.
Yeah, they all doing business with one another.
Never.
They all
Yeah.
on space stations. They off
Come on,
planet
man.
with one another.
They off planet.
Come on, man.
They off planet with each other, bro.
And these are the leaders of the world, the presidents and
Facts.
the prime
Right.
ministers of each
and
country.
they be scrapping in their parliament though.
Yeah, they do.
You feel me?
Come
I
on,
seen
man.
chairs flying.
Come on,
they
man.
get it in. So if they really didn't like each other and they come together and whatnot, where's the tension at?
Come on, man. You know you got a real bill or a real think tank when you start to have conflict within.
Right. Trump
Yeah.
exposed them.
Yeah.
Trump exposed them.
seen, right, when they cannot come to peace or come to the table, in terms of treaties with other nations,
Right.
we've seen how they operate. When you really the op,
Right.
we seen how they turn their opposition upside down.
Right. Their fangs come out.
Right. But the
Right.
people who are they in bed with, who they really doing business with, they putting on theater.
Yeah, they
You know what
put
I'm
no
saying?
theater. Absolutely.
There could be no way that there was so much alleged politically posturing from a balloon flying in somebody's military airspace and then it gets swept under the rug and nothing comes of it. You know what I'm saying? That was all political posturing to either distract people or put other plans into play or to take a litmus test of where the population was at. They're always gauging. They're always seeing, what because there's nothing more profitable, especially with the economies on a rope like this, than war. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Right.
they have to get the the military industrial complex wheels spinning and not just sending machines to the Ukraine. Like they have to prop up economies and create these wider war scenarios.
Right.
And the best one would be an intergalactic one, because now they're gonna be like, we need trillions of dollars
To fight these, right.
these invading
Ain't no way.
aliens and create, these interstellar star systems.
So yeah,
and
today's
detections and
right.
satellites and and all this.
The newest distraction is them shooting down a drone, a Russian drone, over American airspace earlier today. They said that they had 2 jet fighters and they had to intercept a drone. Or is it the other way around? Russia shot down one of theirs. Either way, they're back with their war games. You know what I mean? And if like Blue said, if I were you, I would completely ignore it, because if it were really real, whatever happened to those UFOs y'all allegedly shot down? How did you sweep that under the rug to make room to,
you
for
still
all
ain't
of
get
those?
nothing out the Atlantic Ocean.
You still didn't drag nothing out? Like we still forgot about
still down here.
the most existential threat ever, right?
Y'all ain't
Allegedly.
said nothing.
Yeah,
we
it's
still
pu-
down
it-
here.
It was back to business.
Come on,
we
man.
still holding our breath underwater,
Back to
searching.
business. Now bank failure done.
Yeah.
Everybody done forgot about the shit that was flying in the sky.
Yeah,
See the
You know
power
what
of the
I'm
media.
saying? Power of media.
See the power of the media.
The word media.
Media.
It's an old English word. The befuddler of minds.
Media.
Muddler of mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
The befuddler of minds.
Yeah.
Media.
The
Me.
War Machine.
So, Giant,
Yeah.
what's your observation? Could we get a reading?
Absolutely.
What we looking at?
What
here,
the
man?
I Ching talking
Yeah.
about? What we going through with these?
Ching
Going
Bing.
through, man?
Yeah.
What's this banking situation looking like?
I didn't do it, man. Yeah, not yet. That's something I definitely.
Well, you know, I did it. I did it with the U.S. dollar. April 2nd, 1792. The 6 of spade
Right.
in the deck. And this is a time, man, when after April 2nd, it's gonna be only the strong survives.
You need some pennies? But what we doing?
Yeah,
here?
what we doing?
What happened?
Get you shaking,
Huh?
brother.
Yeah, shaking, talk. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I got some.
While this man,
Got
hold it.
some?
We'll hold
Shake
it
and
together.
bake. Yeah. Let's
Get you shaking.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all got some? I ain't got none.
I ain't got no pennies.
Yeah. I don't got no pennies on me.
Pennies, man.
I ain't got no copper.
We got to keep that copper on.
The only copper I got is a chain. You know what I mean?
But no, you know, man.
Yeah,
You know, I think I read this on the KTL earlier this year on KTL University.
6 of spades, you said?
6 of spades.
Let's talk about it.
You know, 6 of spades is a card of responsibility and wisdom, in health and in lifestyle. And you know, it's a balance card. It's a card about balance. It's the Master 6.
Right.
It's the Master Saturn card, the Master card of karma. So everything that's going out always comes back, always finds balance. So this is definitely a year, man, when if you ain't paid debts, you're going to feel it.
Right.
It's going to all come back. This is a year when only the strong is going to survive. You know, there's a king of spade in the long range position. And in the cards, long range means like the overview of your year, the trailer to a movie.
Right.
That's the long range position. It's a year-long influence. And the U.S. dollar has a king of spades sitting there. So that's saying only the strong going to survive. And there's also going to be some abuse of power, which goes back to manipulation.
Which we can already see.
You know, goes back to the befuddling of minds. You know, to keeping people sleep until it's too late. And then when it's too late, they still going to have confidence in the system. So we definitely looking at a lot of changes this year.
Right.
And some people gonna be forced to let go of some things that they've been holding on to.
Right. So would it be fair to say, because when I hear about befuddling of the minds, you know, it reminds me of this adage about religion. I think they attribute it to Carl Sagan. You know, they said that religion is an opiate of the mind. You know,
Carl Jung.
it's either Carl Jung or Carl Sagan, one of
them,
the Carls.
right.
Shout out to the Carls. But is America a religion? You know, one of my partners, Ken Brisbane, he likes to call it Americanism. He said Americanism is the biggest religion on the planet.
Absolutely, America, in my mind, is a religion because guess what? It's faith based. People believe in America.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They have faith in this country. Land of the free, the home of the brave. Man, you got people from other countries dying to get back over here.
May God
get over
bless
here.
America.
You know what I'm saying? They dying to get over here.
Dying, literally.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like what? When you go to other countries, they be like, "You from America?"
They will smack fire out of you if they. You doing what? Trying to leave?
Yeah, so we know, right? We know that pain is a pressure point. You know what I'm saying? Are people unrealistic when they say that their pain threshold has got them to a place where they like, I want to tap out and I want to divorce this system and get away from the U.S.?
Yeah, they
Is
just talking because half of them wouldn't even survive. Half of them wouldn't even survive, bro.
A story was told to me yesterday about once again a friend of a friend. They went to the continent. They went to Ghana. They set up shop. They was building some real estate and everything. You know, they was very industrious in their endeavors, their outlook as to how they could plant their flag and do their thing. And they said post Obama, on one of the deals that was struck, they built a military base in Ghana, of all places, and now is decimating the local economy because they're building 24/7, and this is now causing all sorts of different fluctuations in the market. The locals can't afford to live in the city anymore, so they got to go back to the bush. But you know, if you are into that level of capitalism, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you build is going to stay booked out because the U.S. is playing catch up with China and Africa, and they're building to stay. And they're building aggressively, and they're building in a 24-hour cycle. So once again, people that are not understanding global politics are getting caught up in the churning wheels of capitalism, not knowing that this country can't afford to play.
Can't afford to play.
They can't afford to play.
Right.
So people are really going to have to get realistic about their relationship with commerce, capitalism, and Caucasians. Because we're obviously seeing that all three of them are making a play to stay. You feel me? And willing to throw whoever they need to overboard to sustain themselves as stowaways, so they don't come tumbling down like Aaliyah's plane. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, too much luggage. You feel me? Is no good. So we're seeing that. We're seeing, like, you know, insolvency. I think of a particular financial class, and they say that it's almost impossible for capitalism not to exist without the lower base of the pyramid. If this is a Ponzi scheme and we're looking at it like that,
absolutely.
But we're seeing a separation, you know, where the lower income and the lower class are gonna get crushed.
It's like the pyramids you just say.
Yeah.
The eye is separated. Top part.
Yeah.
It's
Capstone.
That's it, bro.
Yeah,
that's
separated.
That's the science. You just broke it down. Classism. You just separated the higher ups from what they said was the foundation.
Right. So so the question would always be to the people, even those who have conflict, even those who don't necessarily, they got gastrointestinal issues when it comes to stomaching the politics of Americanism.
Man.
My nigga, do you want to be on the floating bottom half of the pyramid?
Or do you want to be on the flying top
Or do you want to be
half?
on the flying, you know what I'm saying, accelerating, warping, transcendental, quantum leaping part of the eye?
Do you want to stay in
Right.
the Stone Age, or do you want to fly with the Jetsons?
So what
You wanna be a
were your
Flintstone or a
aspirations?
Jetson?
Yeah. As you an adherent to Americanism, what was your aspirations? Right?
Yeah.
Was your aspirations, you know what I'm saying, to become Tony Starks or John Starks, nigga?
Damn.
Or Ed Starks.
Come on,
From
come on,
Game
man.
of Thrones, who got beheaded. Ed Starks.
Tony.
But see,
We got a ship.
see those same people that you talk about divorcing the system, they talk about going back and living on the land, and you know what I'm saying. But when they get over there, capitalism is so inbred into their heart, they start thinking business. Oh, I'm gonna open up this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. Ooh, they ain't got this over here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, man? That power kicks in.
So it's fair to say, wherever you go on the planet, you're going to be a capitalist at heart.
That's
so you're
right.
going to bring this little aspect of Caucasianism and Americanism that you got introduced and ingrained with you everywhere you go, and you can't divorce it. Now, I'm not being, you know, even though I might be utilizing a level of humor and satire, I'm not coming at nobody or coming for nobody. Per se.
But you just speaking truth.
I'm stripping it down so we could be real and look at this thing for what it is, because you spend a lot of time, you know, again, denying who and what you are when we all participate in faith-based religion. We are all adherents, you know what I'm saying?
Americanism.
We are all adherents to Americanism.
That's right.
In one way or another, whether you claim to be adhering to it or whether you claim to be going against it, and you consider or frame yourself in some degree as an anarchist, and you want to burn this system down, you get shits and giggles from burning it down like the Joker. You feel me?
That's right.
Or you at the table playing poker.
But and the thing is, if you were born over here and you were raised in American school systems and American churches, capitalism is bred into you.
Bread.
It's a piece of you. So you going over to a third world country and dropping yourself over there, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna have supreme knowledge to most of them.
Yes.
So when you put a person in that situation, in the card deck we got the 8s, the 10s, the jacks, the queens, and the kings. These are all power cards, and all of these cards say that abuse of power. You know, the need to want to be the boss kicks in.
Right.
So if you put your supreme mind around inferior people,
Right. All of a sudden,
that
what?
human element, that the 10s in the deck, that overindulgence.
Right. You see
pop
yourself
in.
as what? Smarter than the
That's
chief.
Smarter than them.
I'm more resourceful than that chief.
Come on, man. I got
more
money.
Yeah, I got more money than that chief. I got more outlook than that chief. I know how to do this thing better than he do. He need to listen to me.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
And you start scheming, conniving. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and
that
laying the
Christopher
foundation.
Columbus.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
giving
For you-
Christopher.
right. You start laying the foundation for you to be an offspring of Columbus.
That's the crown.
To
line
be
in
an
the grand soda
imperialist.
spread.
To be a global capitalist.
Come on, man. And
I
industrialist.
saw.
Yeah, an industrialist.
So check it out. So I always pictured myself living in America, going through the struggle, whatever we call this shit, popping off one day. You know what I'm saying?
Going to another country.
You know,
Setting up
right.
shop.
It popping off
Yeah.
one day, generational wealth, doing all that, right? That's how I always envisioned it, right? It was one day I'm watching YouTube, and I saw some black people, but they was in Bangkok,
Yeah.
Pattaya,
Yeah.
They was where?
Bangkok, the Thailand,
Thailand.
right? Pattaya, the beach,
Yeah.
living in your
And fuck
homie
it.
had a 2-bedroom, plush,
Right.
high-rise condo.
Right.
Marble floors, man. Look, ocean view.
Oh yeah.
$400 a month.
That part. Yeah.
Dude
I
went out
seen
on,
that,
dude
man.
went out on the town with him and his girl, dog. He
How much they spent?
They spent $10 for the whole day.
For the whole day, right.
I
That
said,
part.
yo, you hit a lick over here for 100 racks, you straight. You hit a lick over here for 100 racks, dog. You can go over there and live for the next 10 years.
But this is my thing. This is my theory.
He finished.
Go ahead.
Finish first.
Yeah, you can go live for the next 10 years. So the power of the dollar against the baht, whatever you call it over there. So it was like $1 was like 32 baht or something like that, right? So I'm saying to myself, I make my bread over here because the dollar's strong,
Right.
And go over to another country like that they speak in English,
Right.
They got technology, they got everything we got over here, but their
Right.
prices is low. You see what I'm saying? Instead of you working your life over here to retire over here because you can't afford to retire over here. You're going to be working at Walmart till you 65 years old working at Walmart, bro, at the door. That type of shit.
Let me see your receipt.
You go over there, you can leverage. So that part of America is good. The way our currency stands up in other countries. But if you ain't over there, you ain't going to be able to experience that.
You don't know.
But that's
You
the
don't
that's
know.
but that's the thing. Most people, bro, they you know, people don't want to detach from what they don't know.
Let me ask you something, Tyreek. Because when you brought that up, of course, my mind immediately drifted. And I was like, there's two scenarios. There's a scenario of getting it and going over there. Then there's also the scenario of just going over there and getting it, right? Yeah. Realizing that if I put myself in an environment that's conducive to me being, entrepreneur-minded, right? My DNA is going to respond to this environment. So if I'm in the sun, if I'm eating good, if I don't have the stress of the bills on me, you feel me? If I'm surrounded by a sense of, because everybody that I spoke to who pulled up in Thailand has the same thing to say. You know what I mean? They're like, it's magical. Mm-hmm. They love us over there. It's a paradise. So I'm like, if I were to place myself in a paradise as a digital nomad, who's still connected into the markets in America and whatnot. I'm just outside of the borders of America, but I'm still plugged in through multiple networks based off of what I've done in America. And then I also maybe able to open up some type of import, export, start a YouTube channel where I'm opening up the eyes as a traveler and I'm showing them certain things. You know, I could now get checks from YouTube, go viral, monetize my experiences about 8 or 10 ways. I'm not stressing for the money to come in because the small money that may be coming in, the small in America is big in Thailand. Right? Then I can utilize my industrial mind state, set up a little workspace, get some of the Thailand women and some of the talented Thailand men, and we could start working Fiverr, freelancer.com, upwork.com, put the money in the pot. The house always gets about 15% of the daily earnings and whatnot. They walking away. They doing gigs for $20. Let them not learn AI or something that's cutting edge. You know what I mean? Don't let them be video editors or stuff like. They getting $200 a pop, up to $2,000 and whatnot. You feel me? And they compounding that. So we got a nice little operation going on. You feel me? I'm feeding the locals. I'm building relationships with their families and whatnot. Then that maybe give me leeway into governmental contracts or other little things. I'm living good. You feel me? I'm bringing other people over because you know melanated people. Me and my cousin coming through. You know what I'm saying? I got my taxes. I'm pulling up. You know what I mean? So I could build then I link it with the real estate people out there. Yo, what if I could sell 5 houses for y'all? What is that gonna get me? You know what I mean? So I'm like, shoot. Just raising the 100,000s in America could be stressful.
Yeah.
What about just going?
I think now, for what I saw, the people that went over there, they either they were retirees, people who had bread coming in,
right, 401ks and stuff.
They don't be crazy amount of money. They might have like $3,500 coming in a month from their retirement, but they popping over there with that. Or you might have a digital nomad, a YouTuber, people over there. As long as you can get your bread, but the thing is, you just need enough. You don't need $100,000, but you need enough to at least carry you for a couple of months while you get yourself situated.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to go over there
and try to figure it out.
Depending on that economy to feed you.
Right.
Because they ain't making that bread like that. You got to be getting money from over here somewhere.
Yeah. You got to go over there with a lump.
2 words.
Yeah. You got
only fans.
You can get a $50,000. Oh. You get a $50,000 credit card.
Right.
Go over there.
Amex. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Just hope they don't put no freeze on your shit.
Or you could open.
Why sit it? But like with Ras.
Or you could open up an OnlyFans.
You're popping.
Yeah.
Digital nomad. And you can make money off the internet digitally. You can pop off over here. But why work yourself to death and the dollar ain't doing you shit over here?
Sweat
Take
equity.
That dollar that you got over here, take it somewhere else and live like a king. That's because that might be the play right there.
No, this. Let me share with you what the new play is moving forward, and it's uniquely juxtaposed against the transhumanism movement. Right, the desire to live as long as possible. This new movement that we're finding ourselves in because of this new lax economy. By a show of hands, how many people read Tim Ferriss's book, 4-Hour Work Week? This is about extending your life, right? That's where we are now. To whereas conversations are being had amongst billionaires and they're like, nah, we're going to be here for 150 years. On some CRISPR gene editing type shit, like on some Ambriosa, we drinking blood and all of that.
You just sent me something where they trying to put your memory into. Right. Man gonna kill himself.
Right.
The guy in Silicon Valley.
Right.
Sam Altman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So on the other side of that, you're like, yo, stress. They just had I just read an article about a bill that was sent to Congress about a 4-day work week in America to extend life, right? Yeah. Right?
And
because of because of the rate of heart disease. People are the number one killers, stress and cancer and whatnot. So it's like, if we got AI that's increasing productivity by 10 to 100% on some people's ends, if we have a new form of generating wealth, right, where you're a content creator where you're not doing what our traditional, our parents were doing with their traditional roles in quote unquote blue collar or white collar work, you know, banging on hammers, you know what I'm saying? Utilizing your hands, tilling the soil, building things with your hand, putting work on the body, right? Prematurely graying and whatnot because we're just going so hard to pay bills. Whereas this new class, they're not even going hard. You have the OnlyFans, or what is known as the creator economy and whatnot. They're like, yo, you got TikTok millionaires that are joking and whatnot. They're doing pranks in Walmart. I'm going to throw the rice at homie and turn around. You know what I mean? They going viral. They're getting paid. You got children that are dancing and whatnot. They're getting paid. You got women that are showing an exotic side of themselves and whatnot. They're getting paid. You got Bandman Kivo and them. They're selling methods and plays on OnlyFans and getting paid. Yo, I'm going to show you how to get rid of your tax debt and everything. Yo, I'm going to give you this method. I'm going to show you this method. So the new way of living, right, is soft living.
Grooving gorilla, eating food and dancing.
Grooving gorilla, right? And it's now been even exasperated more with the fact that you can prompt commands, right, to what they call an acceleration machine, right? Or an amplifying machine, right? An amplifying tool. That's what ChatGPT is considered. It came out of the mouth of Sam Altman. He said this is an amplifying tool. He said, yeah, this is what they said today. It's talking greasy when they was releasing ChatGPT 4. He said, you know, it's not perfect, but neither are we.
Woo.
I almost crashed the whip.
Unbelievable.
Right? And he didn't even embellish on it. He just kept going. But that was such a moment right there. He said, yeah, it's not perfect, but neither are we. What this is an amplifying tool that when used together in conjunction will amplify your life.
It's like I say.
And help you reach perfection.
It's like Iron Man.
Right.
Tony Stark in the suit.
And right. And Jarvis.
And Jarvis.
Gotta remember.
Guess what? Tony Stark, the suit, and Jarvis amplified the whole
That was his amplifier tool, right? He was flawed.
Absolutely.
He wasn't perfect. And even him, the fact that they casted an imperfect man and we knew his story from outside in real life, that was genius.
And you know what's crazy, Red?
Yeah.
In the science of the cards, we all got two cards. We got a birth card, which represents your soul's essence, your life's purpose, why God put you here. It also represents the star that was closest to the earth at the time of your birth. Then you got a planetary ruler card. It's directly connected to your zodiac. It represents your characteristics, your persona, and how the world sees you.
So let me...
These two cards are our yin and our yang. Positive and negative,
right,
feminine and masculine.
Right.
Guess what? Both of them can operate to a capacity individual of self,
right?
But when they do, they're incomplete. But when you put the birth card with the planetary ruler card and you start to walk both of those paths parallel, it amplifies. You start to do the will of God,
right?
Walk, stand on your square, and walk in your purpose,
right? So where humanity is moving, right, or the new economy is moving and whatnot, or what the vision is the fact that, you know, we want to live the most stress-free existence, right? And also generate the most money that we've ever seen by utilizing new technologies and whatnot. We are totally the antithesis to sweat equity. We're not breaking our backs like our parents did.
We working smarter, not harder.
We're working smarter, not harder. They're gonna show you through studies and whatnot how you could put 5 years to 10 years to 20 years extensions on your existence and whatnot, without the aid and assistance of artificial intelligence or their quote unquote scientific, adage and whatnot. They're just gonna say this is just based off of joy. This is based off of the release of the dopamine and whatnot. We're extending our life because we're happy and we don't have to basically stress ourselves. And we have a 4-hour work week. We're in nature. That time that we got back is the time that we're going to use to work on ourselves and whatnot, to improve ourselves. This is the time that we're going to spend to homeschool our children, because that's also the big move right now. This is the time that we're going to spend quality times, soft lifetime. You know what I mean? We're going to get our feet done. We're going to get massages. We're going to get these.
Soft living.
Soft living.
Hey, listen, that's why
quiet
the word
quitting.
for 2023, soft living,
Soft
baby.
living.
We all focusing on soft living.
You feel me?
Doing it effortlessly with effortless ease.
Right? So if I were in a tropical place like Cancun or Tulum or Thailand, right? And I was chilling and I was having, or the continent and whatnot, places like Ghana and whatnot, Rwanda, it is going to help, because now we're moving into the realm of mentalism, right? Whereas your mind and the level of how fast you can think, how fast you can prompt, how clear the mind is and whatnot, that will determine your place in this new economy and whatnot. That's going to determine your output. So the fact that it's about the mind now, those products that Blue Pill is standing on and standing behind and whatnot, those are the products of the future. Nootropics.
Yeah.
How could the brain work in conjunction with artificial intelligence? Somebody is on my heels right now. ChatGPT is trying to take over. AGI is threatening to become more smarter than us. So it's going to be about the brain power, the mental power. You might not even have to utilize your hands and whatnot. Because imagine me being able to speak into a microphone and prompt something that could basically set off a 3D printer that could create something, and then we could take it right to market.
Go get me a glass of water.
That part,
I ain't gotta
right?
touch nothing.
And you're gonna
gotta
see,
vocalize.
right? They released a new AI the other day called Palm E.
Something to do with the palm, with the hand.
Nah, Palm E. Whenever you see E, E is for embodied.
Embodied. Wow.
They moving fast. So now embodied AI is AI with a body.
The one. Remember when you said AI gonna be hitting your girl?
They got Palm, when now the new movement is embodied AI. This is what Tesla is about to bring to the table. Google already released Palm E. Palm E had the robot getting water, right? And then the researcher was hitting it with things to try to throw it off, and it was still getting water. Boston Dynamics.
Wow.
That was embodied. That's embodied AI.
DARPA.
Huh?
DARPA.
Embodied AI. So you're about to see the rise of the robots. We got AI, but you about to see, what was it, Will Smith thing?
Our robot.
You're about to see our robot, right?
Umar just said black people better start sending their kids.
I know,
to
I heard
trade
him,
school.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the
is that-
robots finna take over.
Is what he has a trade school?
Absolutely.
Was he pitching his school?
Absolutely.
Okay. Me, myself, and AI, right? Or me, myself, and Open AI. You know, they made the move is already here. So
So let me ask
go
you
buy
something. Let me ask you something, Tariq. With everything that we talking about, the economy, the future, how can we integrate the I Ching into helping us advance our lives?
Man, you got to look at it like a science. Treat it like a science, not just. You look at these tools. Don't treat it like a. People see like the little movies that they like a superstitious thing. Treat it like a science, right?
yeah,
When everything you do, it's about everything is binary. You either like this or you either like that. Right?
What is binary?
Binary is two choices.
Okay.
two poles.
That's just for those who don't
Yeah,
understand.
two
Right.
choices. You know, this like that's our computer.
Up or
language,
down,
right?
left or
Zeros
right,
and ones.
zeros and ones.
Zeros and ones. Whatever that computer's doing, whatever AI, all this stuff doing, it's
Right.
a combination of certain patterns of zeros and ones stringed together. It's an algorithm.
Right.
Everything based on algorithms, right?
Right.
So every decision that you make is part of a bigger algorithm. You
That
know what
part.
I'm saying? You ain't nothing but a sum of just different decisions you done made. You just a bunch of string.
Adjustment
That's how
bureau.
they can.
Powerful.
That's why
Right.
if I go on Instagram or Facebook right now, they know my algorithm so
They know
so
your
much.
code.
They know to sell me.
Right.
I'm buying like 80% of the shit they selling me right now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Or either if I'm not buying it, I'm trying to resist. Like you say, resisting on that pull-up bar.
Right.
I'm trying to resist not buying that shit.
Getting
but
stronger.
they got me, you know, and it's
They appealing, right.
Yeah, they know exactly.
They
what
hear
I
your
like.
pain,
Yeah.
your pain points.
If I go to Spotify, I play a song. After the song I want to listen to, the other songs start playing on their own. Everything they playing is a banger.
It's a bop,
I like
right?
that.
You just
They-
stay with it. It's a bop.
Yo, they hitting me with everything I like.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's an algorithm. So what the I Ching does is that if you're in a situation like, okay, I need to comments on, like you asked a question, I want to go left, I want to go right. Comments on me going left, comments on me going right. When you making a decision, it's binary, zeros and one. You like this, you like that. But what makes you determine whether you want this or that is your feelings about certain things, right?
Yes.
Your emotions. Your emotions are gonna make you biased towards this or that. It ain't got nothing. Sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with logic. You ain't doing it because it's the right thing to do. You're doing it because you feeling that.
Feel good.
Like if you did a relationship reading
No,
before.
Right.
it's crazy.
Guilty pleasure.
But you know it's crazy because the heart suit in the deck. You know you got 4 types of people: hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. The hearts people say I feel. The clubs people say I think. The diamonds people say, how much does it cost? And the spades people say, man, I love the intricate details and how they did it and what the quality of it is. Those are the 4 type of people. So you just talked about the hearts, how you feel.
But that's the wrong. That you can't make decisions just based off what you feeling.
We know that.
That's
Absolutely.
that's the difference
Absolutely.
between a human and a God, right?
Yeah.
Right.
God gonna make decisions based upon that's the decision
I don't know. God say he get jealous.
I mean, come
Come on. God
He
say
in
he
his
got
feels.
pride.
Yeah, he been in his feelings.
So you know he
listen, man.
Listen, remember
if
this.
was emotion involved with it, this shit was.
It's gotta be emotion, bro, because
It gotta
emotion
be.
is what powers everything.
Energy and motion.
Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
If I wanted, for instance, if I working out, not working out, because of my feelings, right? If I don't like to do something, I'm not going to do it.
That's right.
That's based off of feeling. That's based
Absolutely.
off of emotion.
Will, but that's based off of willpower.
That's
Yeah,
real too. But
absolutely.
but me, Will is using like, yo, I'm a know my emotions and have the willpower to go do that shit.
That's right.
So do they go hand in hand?
What's that?
Emotions and willpower.
Emotions and willpower.
Do they
Of
go
course.
It depends on how you direct it. For instance, if you combine emotions like the I Ching, right? For instance, they'll have a triagram says one triagram will be dealing with wisdom, and one triagram will be dealing with emotions. So if you put emotions on top of wisdom, you won't have a problem. See what I'm saying? You can't
But if
put
you put
emotions
wisdom on top of
you're supposed to
emotions.
You're supposed to put wisdom on top of emotions.
And that's what we always
Right.
say when we say we got to start letting our thought control our emotions instead of our emotions
Control our
controlling thoughts.
'Cause-
Because when emotion controls the thoughts, we make irrational, emotional decisions.
So what race?
So the key to the I Ching is
Yeah.
basically, okay, if I want to do this, I want to do that. What should I do? Not based on no emotions, but based on facts, based on the way this thing is playing out.
Right.
It's like if you can kind of predict what something's going to head by you seeing signs. For instance, they said that your what they say your thoughts determine how the way you feel.
That's right.
The way you feel determine the way you act. The way you act determines your character. Your character determines your destiny. See what I'm saying? So I can look at you can tell how a person acting, right? Yo, he's a street dude. We grew up in the street. You can tell when you can say, yo, this nigga ain't gonna make it 21. You see what I'm saying?
Man,
versus
that's crazy.
because of the way he think, the way he feel, the way he act, he's doing certain things. His character. He got a street nigga character. You see what I'm saying? Street nigga characters either end up certain type of ways.
That's right.
Destiny, right?
Yeah.
But he can change his destiny by changing the way he think, right?
Absolutely.
So that's what the I Ching does. You can change the outcome of situations if you change the way you think.
And that's the same way with the cards. The only thing that can change the outcome of the cards is your attitude
Exactly.
and the way you think.
That-
But you just gave a
yeah.
scenario earlier about when you was in the real estate market and the I Ching told you basically, man, back up.
Okay, so
But you went contrary to what it said due to your feelings.
Right.
I went because of my feelings.
Because you a human.
And I lost everything. I went from a mansion. First of all, I went from an air mattress
To a
mansion.
Right.
Then back to the mansion, back to the air mattress.
Full cycle.
Bill.
Right.
Now you're on your way back to the
But
mansion.
when that happened, it happened for a reason because now I was all in at that point.
Yeah.
Like how can these 3 pennies tell me that nobody? I mean, you hearing the rumblings on TV, but the market was crashing the next day, and the coins was trying to tell me to retreat because the shit was
Telling
going
you
to crash
back
the
up,
next
man.
day.
Come on, man.
The next day it happened. You see
Right,
what I'm
son.
saying?
Man,
Because
listen,
you know
these-
why? Because it was a pattern. It was a pattern. It was an algorithm. It was
Read the algorithm, right.
It was. I was dealing with advanced, like you talking about Chat GPT. I was dealing with the divine intelligence that
Right.
read everything, and you can prompt that, and it'll give you answers.
Oh.
You know what's
Almighty
crazy,
intelligence,
man?
almighty,
These
brother.
divination systems are something else, man. I always tell people that these are tools that the Almighty gave us to be able to govern our lives. The same way it
Almighty
happened to him, it
intelligence.
happened to me in a year when I had a 9 of diamond in the long range position. And at that time, man, I might have been making like 80,000 a week, 60,000 a week. Me and my man, you know what I'm saying? We eating like, man, that was a beautiful time of my life and of our lives. And this 9 of diamond pops up. Now the 9 of diamond is a card of loss. It's also a card of that, you know, saying, hey, you might have to pay off some stuff. You might have to give up some money. But when you're not scared, when you release the fear, when you pay what you need to pay, it can also act as a millionaire's card, the 7 of diamond, your card, because they tied. And it says that when you let go and have no worries, the windows of heaven open up and pour out a blessing you can't contain. So I'm looking at my situation, but I'm looking at the 9 of diamonds, and what I'm interpreting it with, that's underlying it, is telling me, hey man, stop, back up. But it's so good. I'm like, nah, man, I let my emotion, I let my own rationale override it and say, man, I'm gonna look at it, I'm gonna switch my paradigm. I'm gonna look at it from, I'm gonna make more money. All I gotta do is put more in, so I go all in. Go all in. Take everything out the reserves, go in.
Ooh.
Man, come on, man. In 2 days, I lost almost $400,000.
Ooh.
And it rocked me to my core. And I had to go back to my woman and look her in her face and say, and she was like, don't worry about it. I got you.
See?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody need one.
So, you know, so man, not paying attention, not listening to what we, you know, the law of 44. You know what I'm saying? Not listening to the cardiology,
these different
astrology, not listening to the I Ching.
divination systems that give us clear signs and indications.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? But you both have offered an amazing story about build and destroy to build again, to rebuild. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what the crux of this conversation is about. Information is always there. The signs are always there. You know what I'm saying? The indicators are always there. There's nothing more natural than planetary and financial cycles. You know what I'm saying? Because us as humans, as people, we go through natural planetary cycles, which are influencing financial cycles. But the thing that we want to stress, because the conversation this year is AI, the crossover, you know, and intelligence has taken such a paramount step forward in terms of us looking at it and laying our claim to it. You know what I'm saying? The thing this time around is to prepare ourselves to be intelligent, to utilize the information that has already been presented, because some of this stuff is very patternized, and then we're going to see some things that we've never seen before. You feel me? But we do need the information to be aware. We do need to be cognizant. You know, so I want to thank you for bringing some clarity, insight, some oversight to this conversation. I want to thank you for your analogous, takes on it, giving the analogies that's necessary. So, you know, just a regular person on the street that's hearing this information can put it in perspective. I want to thank you for your real life, correlation. You were able to correlate it from real life experiences that you had, and we know that individuals for the most part are either going through what you just said that you just went through, or they're gonna be on their way to go through this thing, because as he said, you know, the big bubble burst is approaching.
Absolutely.
And it's going to impact housing, you know what I'm saying? And they mad people ran out and bought cribs the last 2 years because it was so sweet. Couldn't even find nothing in Atlanta until very recently. The market was so hot out here. So a lot of people are going to be left holding the bag. And this is always going to come down to the pedigree of information, because now that we're dealing with such a deluge of information, especially on the internet, there's so many people saying so many different things. I was hearing people that was telling people don't fall for it. You know what I'm saying? Don't run into that housing market because they dangling carrots.
They dangling carrots.
You know what I mean? And mad people ran to it. You know what I'm saying? They was telling them that wasn't a smart investment, and people still took it. So, you know, the pedigree of information, the fact that there's so much information, you know what I'm saying, and so much divergent information, you got to have a level of your own personal discernment as to what you're going to listen to and what you're going to go with. And that discernment only comes from you having a foundation to qualify the information that you're listening to and make sense of it. So I want to definitely thank y'all for bringing such a powerful, you know, dialogue and conversation to the table, you know, at an important time when people really need this info so they can make decisions on what to build and what to destroy.
With the evil in my residential. It was all emojis, it was never mental. The